Hey everyone, welcome to Bay Ridge, Brooklyn for Savvy Transformation, episode 4. I'm here today to talk about limitations and seeing beyond limitations and into your greater possibilities of your life. We just got back 2 weeks ago from Seattle. My husband is recovering nicely. My last episode, I talked about how I was able to start remembering to let go, de-stress, and realize it's okay to have a rest period so that we could think about what's next. In this episode, I'm going to talk about something that I talked about in a number of episodes in the past and brought up, and that is my miracles, as I've called it, with apartment finding in New York City. Hey, yeah, how are ya? Hey, Franco. I've lived now in New York all of my adult life. I came here when I was 16 years old after my parents got divorced, and we had a really difficult family background, tumultuous, and at 22 I realized I couldn't stay in that environment anymore. I made a decision one day after a really difficult time at home that I needed to move out and move out as quickly as possible. Now here's the key. At that point in time I was making $8 an hour, take home about a little over 160, 150 a week. And I was like, how am I going to afford anything in New York or even outside of the 5 boroughs? But I said, decision, I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I've got to do it. And 2 weeks after that point, I met someone in my dance class that said, hey, I own an apartment in the Bronx. It's my apartment. I sublease it to 3 tenants, and I have one more room available, and I'm willing to give it to you for $150 a week. So, I mean, that's perfect. The going rate of what they say you should spend in your house or your mortgage or your apartment should be about a quarter of what you bring home. So in my case, 150, actually it was 150 every 2 weeks, but it was enough that I could move out, buy food, and survive. So in 2 weeks after that point in time that I made the decision, I had an apartment to live in the Bronx. So that was my first miracle. And from that point on, anytime I needed a place to stay in and around New York City, regardless of my income or what was going on in my life, I made a decision that I'm finding it in this neighborhood wherever I wanted to be, and I found it. Case in point, we're now here in present. I now have my present apartment. 13 years ago, or almost 12 and a half years ago, I came to Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. The going rate for a studio at that time were about the same as they are now, about $1,300 to $1,600 per month. My going budget at the time that I could afford was comfortably about $850, $750. But I made a decision. I love this neighborhood. I came to visit friends here, and I said, this is the neighborhood I want to be in. So I started looking for a studio, and I went from place to place. I remember the day I woke up to make the decision that I was going to do it. I went to 5 different agencies and said, this is what I want. I want to find an apartment for $850 max, studio. And it was funny. All 5 agencies told me it's not possible. You're not going to find an apartment in this neighborhood. I'm sorry. You're in the wrong area. It's not going to happen. I said to them, trust me, you're going to find it. When you do, just give me a call. And they said, you're wasting our time. Get out of here. And I'm pretty sure when I left, most of the places, they ripped up my application and whatever. At the end of that day now, it's 5 o'clock. I'm really exhausted. And I see one more agency, real estate agency, I haven't checked. And I decide to walk in and say to them, hey, I'm walking in the neighborhood. And they said, well, we're about to close, but let me see if we can help you. So I said immediately what I'm looking for, and they said they heard, okay, $850, $750. They said, okay, I'm sorry, you're wasting our time. That doesn't exist. I said, I know that's what it shows. I know the market value, but trust me, you're going to find something for my price range, and it's going to come in. Trust me. And she's like, yeah, that's very nice that you believe that, but it's not possible. And I said, it's going to happen. Trust me. Just please take my information. When it comes in, please give me a call. Well, right when I'm going through this with her, her phone rings. She picks it up, and Anne-Marie picks it up, and the person tells her, la, 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 la. And lo and behold, she turns white, and she looks at me. Hey, that's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just let me know.
Thank you. You're the best. So anyway, Anne-Marie says to me, all right, she gets off the phone. She's now white and pale, and she looks at me, and she's like, you're not going to believe this. An apartment just came in for $566 studio. I know the building. It's amazing. And I said, okay, what are we waiting for? Let's go look at it. And she's like, okay. So we go look at it. My gosh, when I walked into the apartment building, the entrance of the building was so clean you could eat off the floor. I said to the guy, just give me the application, I'm good to go, I'll take the apartment. He's like, no, we can go upstairs and look at it. No, I'm good. We don't even need to look at the apartment, I'm taking it. So anyway, we go upstairs, we look at the apartment, they take my information because they have to make sure I have a job and check my credit and all this good stuff. A week later, I sign the contract, I'm in the apartment. $566. Let me say the market value for a studio at that time, $1,300 to $1,600. And I got an apartment for $533, way below what I even asked for. So now we're at present, and I'm, now newly married to a wonderful man, and the studio apartment that I moved into was perfect 13 years ago. But now with my husband and my little doggy, it's a little tight. So now we are going to upgrade to Brooklyn Heights, a market value area that's about $6,000, $4,000 for a studio, $6,000 for a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom is the market value. That is not the income I'm presently bringing in that could afford something like that. But you know what? This year my goals are not only to build the income, but to get the apartment that we want and that most fits us. And that is a place that we've picked out in Brooklyn Heights. And we've so envisioned our life there in Brooklyn Heights that we started spending every weekend in Brooklyn Heights, eating at all the different places, getting to know the neighborhood. So much so that people there in Brooklyn Heights have been asking us, oh, when did you guys move in? You're new to the neighborhood, right? I'm like, oh yeah, we're new. Really new. So new we haven't even found the apartment yet. But as with my past experiences with finding apartments, we are going to find a kick-butt, wonderful Brooklyn Heights apartment, which I will show you once we move in. But my goal for this for this show is to show you that I've forgotten that I've done this in my life. This miracle coming about with apartments several times has been a blessing that come over and over and over again whenever I've needed an apartment. So now I'm going to transform this blessing and realize that this can happen at any point in my life, including with my business, including with our health, which is now my husband's health is back up there, my health is doing better. To realize that the miracle doesn't have to just be in one part of our life, that the possibilities are limitless in all parts of our life. So I'm taking this next decision and expectation into not only our business, but into the apartment finding and finding ways to just explode this year, not just with our health. So I'm sharing this with you all. If anyone feels like there's some things in your life that just isn't possible, just like with my apartment finding, you just need to put the focus and the goal, and this is where we want to be, this is where we're going to be, and regardless of what it looks like and what it seems possible, just go for it. Because $566 rent in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, not possible. Everyone and their mama would tell me that. In fact, it's funny, now that we're thinking of moving, everyone around us, the naysayers, like the neighbors and family, are like, no, don't move, you don't know what you have is a blessing. I'm like, but that's just the people stuck in the limits, the idea that there's no possibilities out there. And as we all know with Transformation 2019, the possibilities are endless. If you put your goal and your focus on it and you do not stop and do not let anyone get in the way of the direction you want to take. So have a wonderful Sunday, everyone, and go get your dreams. God bless.